back to Mortals and Portals, a Pathfinder Real Play podcast. I'm your host and GM, Zach, and joining me at the table is...
Adam, Jhuls, Azure Kitty Bard,
Brian, Ryu, Elf, Magus.
Wait, it is supposed to be my turn. My name is Joel, and I play Dax, the Kobold Rogue.
Oh, just cut the rest of Ryan's lines for the rest of the episode, then.
Now you go, Ryan.
I'm such shame.
Ryan, go!
Ryan, you can go twice since Taryn's not here, so just do it twice.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, Ryu, Elf, Magus.
You screwed it
I know,
up, you
and I
idiot.
just said it too, and I forgot what I said.
on.
Idiot.
It's
Well,
not my night.
Taryn,
It's not my night.
Walt's human champion, is not here because he texted me. He's like, hey, look, last episode, I tackled an ice golem and destroyed it with my shield, and I don't think I'll ever do anything cooler than that. So on that note, I'm out. And I was like, that's cool, man. No hard feelings.
So it's nice having him.
See you around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I deleted his number. So I hope he's doing okay. But
Yeah.
yeah,
He said
really
he wanted to go
appreciated-
solo with the podcast now. He's going to
Makes
have
you wonder if he was ever here in the first place.
He's
Yeah,
just
so
going to be
check
Waltz.
out Turtles and Turtles and
Terrans
that'll
and
be,
Turtles and Turtles?
That's Taryn continuing the story.
It's
100%
just
solo.
Walt just
Turtles
wandering
and
around the
girdles.
wilderness.
It's like the Origins Digsby episode, just over and over again. Just
talking
one
to himself. Yeah. I'd
One
watch
guy
it.
playing by himself. But Ryan has to make piano
You
music.
don't
for
watch podcasts, Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you can.
It's not
Some
my
of them are
nowadays.
video.
It's
We
not
don't
my
say
night. It's
podcast
not my
now.
night.
I mean, watch
Okay,
it.
okay, yeah, I get it.
It's all right, Adam. It's okay.
So I'm a little testy. I hurt my back again a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Yeah. So wish me good wishes and kiss me good kisses.
I'll kiss your back.
All right.
Oh, God.
Uh,
Save us, Zach.
I'd like
Start
that.
the show.
No, let's let it keep going. Just what else you got?
Other words that rhyme with kiss.
Diss.
Cool.
Dis-
Adam's
yeah.
trying to tank Mortals and Portals so
Dis
that
me good
Turtles
disses.
and Tortles does better for Taryn. He's trying to help Taryn out. But yeah, Taryn's not here today. He'll be back. Don't worry about it. I think maybe if I remember his phone number after I deleted it. So yeah, anyway, last time on Mortals and Portals, a lot of stuff happened because we got like 4 stories going on all the time, constantly now, and I don't know what to do about it. It's just never going to end, and it's just going to kind of fizzle out, and then the podcast.
If only you could control that.
It's like Game of Thrones, where it's just like, I don't know, too many storylines. I'm George R.R. Martin. I won't finish it. Who knows what's going on? But let's see what did happen.
I don't know.
Ryu met Kofi. That was kind of cool. Kofi.
That was cool.
Kofi
Yeah.
showed up from the Keldora Chronicles. If you don't know who that is, we do have a preview of the episode. If you just want to get a little background on Kofi on our regular feed, or it's on Patreon, whatever. Don't worry about it. You don't got to listen to it if you don't want to. And then they basically decided that Kofi, like he's kind of leading this rebellion, and the rebellion has heard that there's a new leader, the Erikai, who's different, may be willing to work with them, and they need the Erikai's help to sort of turn the tides. And Rhea's been setting out this like new way of bringing in exiled Erikai, being willing to work with others to create this larger force that's actually capable of combating the Fangdom. So they agreed to work together, but then he also wanted to fight him. So I think you guys had a little fight to sort of test strength and things like that. Waltz,
Precisely.
he wandered into the storm, and he was fighting that ice golem and that storm cloud that was like flying around and trying to push him over and all sorts of crazy stuff. And then basically he realized he had been channeling the Anweld, this other radio power that he seems to have been using from time to time in the past, with the T-Rex that shoots lightning, and now he started shooting lightning. That was actually the Anweld.
Real quick, I was inspired by people in the Discord to do a re-listen too. And way early on, when we save Smith from the cage, he references hippogriffs being able to shoot lightning and stuff too. So I don't know what it is with Waltz and lightning.
Okay, so and Taryn more specifically. What
Yeah,
Taryn's
more
deal with lightning
Taryn.
is. Yeah, I guess he's always had this power in him that it's it's dormant, but he's aware of it somehow. So he destroyed all that, and then it basically was like a catalyst for his animal power, and his hair stood up and his eyes were going white, and then also it jump-started his Gameltor gifts, and he's basically able to foresee the one path through the storm that won't kill him, essentially. So now he's like walking along this path into the center of the storm, and then Dax, he got to go meet Rogira. First, he walked in and met this kobold named Kor, who he thought was Rogira, which Kor thought was hilarious.
What an idiot Dax is.
Yeah, what a dumb thing to say. And then he found out that Kor is the first kobold, and he is Rogira's last remaining kobold. And like Rogira, he sort of possesses all of the elements. You know, Rogira was the first dragon, and from him, all dragons came into being, and some dragons are like ice dragons and poison dragons and fire dragons and electricity dragons and all this stuff. So Rogira is all of those things, and that's sort of reflected in his kobold. And Kor was telling you that you have these Draxu powers that you've sort of been awakening on accident through that ley line explosion that gave Dax the ability to shoot like Ray of Frost and that flame and all sorts of other stuff. And also you started to sprout wings when you had that dream with Theragoon. And he's basically saying like your Draxu powers are coming to life, but to fully unleash them, you need to, he like worded it as being like baptized by dragon fire. Like you need to endure this like magical flame that will awaken the rest of your powers. But he said, beyond like just this heightened power in general, like enhancing the gifts you seem to already have, it'll unlock your most important gift, which is Theragoon created you as a contingency plan if she died to ensure that Droga never escaped the ethereal. That's why she was the last remaining dragon on Drakis, because Droga was trapped within the core, like the ethereal core of Drakis, but he seems to be untethered by that, and he's nearing the ability to just like leave the ethereal and come back to the material altogether. So your job is to go into the ethereal and kill him before he does that.
No pressure.
A whole bunch of other lore and stuff. Listen to the episode if you want, or don't, whatever. And so you stood the fire, it awakened these powers, and Rogira came out, he was huge, it was crazy, and then he like went back into this abyss. And that is where we ended our session. So that is where we'll start our session.
I love my turn.
Dax, you are crouched in this path of smoldering flames that are casting some light in this cavern. You just saw Rogira's tail slither back into the abyss. You're feeling this aura and power around you. Can you roll me a perception check?
Yes. Maybe my eyes got a little dried out by this fire because I rolled a 3. So my perception is a 18.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely like hard to make things out because there's just a few flames on the ground like flickering, and other than that it's pretty dark, and it was misty in there as well. But you realize basically your sword was like incinerated in this fire. Most of your clothes have been incinerated, but a very tasteful amount remains where you look cool.
I was gonna say,
and nothing embarrassing.
Most of your clothes, but still tasteful.
but just like a tasteful loincloth.
Like an Incredible
basically
Hulk
the right
type
amount.
situation.
Yeah. It's so if the patrons vote on this for a session sketch, Adam doesn't have to do anything questionable. You know, that amount of clothing. So yeah, basically like only your body really was able to like withstand this flame, and then also your sigil bracer, the one that can take you back to Keeper's Keep.
Thank goodness.
And
Yeah.
as you're sort of observing that and like twisting your wrists and looking at the bracer, you kind of faintly see your scales are reflecting a slightly different color than they were before, though it's hard to tell. It almost feels like at certain angles they're multicolored as well, though the base color still remains your burnt orange. And it's hard to tell if it's like all over your body and just in patches. And then as you're sort of like padding around your body to look at these scales, you notice like maybe a few more bumps on your body in certain spots, and you reach up to your head and realize you have like a new set of horns that have like sprouted from your head.
What?
In whatever position or way or style you think looks coolest on Dax, you have like new horns, sort of like hardened scales, a slightly
So
different reflection and shimmer
Heck yeah.
on them. And as you're trying to make sense of this, you hear flapping wings and then see Kor come out of the same abyss and sort of hover down before you. And as he drifts to the ground into a slow walk towards you, he says, "Tak Bezaf, Etak Jalat, Haji Maras." And he said in Draconic, "One flame, one soul. Welcome, brother." Because you know that he too is Draxu, and he's acknowledging this new power that you've unearthed. And as he says that, he sort of lifts his staff and it glows subtly, and you're wrapped in new clothing and robes. Again, whatever you think looks coolest on Dax. Like, you're not wearing your tattered Dracus robes with holes in them or things like that. You just have this new sick get up, dope horns, kind of new scales, and you're just looking souped up. You're like,
I'm liking
next
this.
form Dax right now.
Heck yeah.
I'm actually, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna hop off and just start drawing decks.
I know, I want to see this drawn too.
I know Draconic now. I understood him when he said
You
that.
always knew Draconic? I feel like it's one of those things where you can understand it maybe better than you can speak it. Though, yeah, you do know Draconic. It's just not something that people commonly speak in on Dracus anymore.
Sure. Seeing the new armor and cloak and everything sort of apparating around his body, I don't know if that's even a word, but he'll look to Core and just reply with brother in Draconic.
Miraz. Awesome. He nods to you, and he has a look of pride in his eyes as he's maybe noticing the horns on your head, and it's an exciting thing. Maybe it's something he witnessed a lot more like centuries ago, millennia ago, but now it's so rare for a Draxu to even exist, especially like a new Draxu to come into existence. So that was a very like special, rare thing for him to witness. And you already got the sense that he cared a lot about Kobold history, dragon history. So this is a very special moment for him. And you, over his shoulder, notice there's something glowing in the mist just behind him, maybe pulsing.
Okay. Am I at like the edge of this pit that he came out of?
You're a good distance from the pit because there was enough room for most of Rojira to be standing in the gap between you and the abyss.
I suppose eyeing this object, Dex will start slowly walking towards the object.
Kor notices you're walking towards something and he follows your gaze and says, Jada Voseki, which you know means gifts unending. And he follows you up to this glowing object, and you realize it's like a smoldering scale of Rojira that was left behind, stabbed into the ground. And Kor looks at it and tilts his chin up and raises his staff that begins to glow subtly. And he says, Atrvar Vezov, Ven Vezov. And he said, from the flame, for the flame. And he taps the scale and it splinters into a bunch of different pieces, and a bunch of small shards fall off it and stab into the ground. But what remains is a monolithic piece of this scale that is glowing like the embers of a fire. And it is a short sword. Like the hilt, the sword itself, it's all scale. It's not like a handle with the, it's like all smoldering scale. Like even the handle looks hot. And he looks to you and then gestures with his hand to this sword.
Don't do it, Dax. It's a trap.
Gifts, huh? And Dax will walk over and lean down and slowly but confidently grab the handle of this short sword and just kind of hold it up to eye level, turning it in his hand, checking it out. I guess kind of half waiting for something to happen to him, just because this, like you mentioned, looks really hot. So yeah, does anything happen to him when he picks it up, or does it just feel like a sword?
When you touch it and pick it up, you can tell like it is hot, but for some reason not bothering you. It reminds you almost of the flame you were standing in.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like a surge of power as you're holding it, and its embers glow a bit brighter. The light is bouncing off your face, reflecting off your horns, and you can tell that this sword is hot and would damage people because of how hot it is, but in your hands can be wielded. And you are wielding a +1 striking short sword like you had, though this one has the flaming property rune.
Nice.
A weapon with this rune is empowered by flickering flame. The weapon deals an additional 1d6 fire damage on a successful strike, plus 1d10 persistent fire damage on a critical hit.
Oh,
Dang.
Dang. That's sick. Can I get that?
Yeah, dude. Go stand in Rogira's Dragon Flame and see if you.
Okay, I'm sure it'll be the same outcome.
It just instantly
wet guy.
dries you out.
Just like a dried up catfish on the side of a river.
How does the persistent stuff work? Like, how long does that stay
Persistent is like basically on the end of their turn, they roll persistent damage and then they roll a flat check to see if they recover from it.
Okay.
Of 15, or they can spend 2 actions to try and like put the fire out, and then they roll a check.
Oh, okay.
Then
Neat.
After taking a second to take this all in, how powerful this new short sword feels in his hand, and then just the importance of it being forged, if you will, from the scale of Rogira. Dax feels very honored right now. He feels the weight of what was explained by Core of being responsible for defeating Droga, and he will sheathe this short sword, and maybe in doing that will feel around for his bow to make sure that that didn't get.
well, you gave your bow
Burnt
to
up.
Zoki.
Oh, you're right. That's a good point. I forgot about that.
So it never got burnt up. Whoops. Though Dax, as you were patting around to see if your bow was there, and then suddenly remember that that is a part of your fighting style, and look around, and on the ground you do notice the shards left behind. They're all different colors, and they're in the shape of arrowheads.
I like that. Okay. Noticing that these would make great arrowheads, Dax will pick them up and put them in his satchel, eager to get back to Keeper's Keep.
Dax, when you pick them up and interact with them, you notice, like, since they're all different colors, they sort of have different magic inside of them. So you picked up 25 elemental ammunition, moderate.
Nice.
5 of each available damage type for that elemental ammunition.
Dang, that's sick.
All right. Add weapon.
So the different damage type. So it's the level 5 one, the moderate one. The ammunition deals 2d4 persistent damage and 2 splash damage of a given type. So you have 5 acid, 5 cold, 5 electricity, 5 fire, and 5 poison.
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome. That is very, very cool.
Dope.
As Dax puts these in his satchel, he'll just kind of nod to himself and maybe say under his breath, yeah, I think these will come in handy.
Core tilts his head,
Fitting weapons for Vendroga.
which means hunter of death. Though his face gets a little somber for a moment after he says that, and he looks at you and furrows his brow.
Though Dax, I should warn you, there is reason Theragoon delayed your birth and has only now called upon you. Droga knows the means by which he is imprisoned and is a cunning foe. If he defeats you, he may claim your power to return to the material for himself. It is only because his return appears inevitable that this risk is necessary.
So you remember, if you go into the ethereal, you can't get back unless you kill Droga and get the Draxbar. So your Draxu powers plus the Draxbar can get you back to the material. So Droga has the Draxbar, and if the one other means of getting back, like the other element, enters into his realm and he claims that power for himself, then he can take himself back. So that's why they didn't just send a Draxu like thousands of years ago before he got stronger.
Right.
But now that they feel like, well, he's definitely going to get to the material and he's at his weakest in the ethereal, so now the risk is worth it. But basically saying if you fail, that's just another consequence that he's immediately going to come to the material.
Core, I assure you that I'll do everything in my power to defeat Droga and keep him from returning. Those that fight along with me are formidable warriors as well, and I would trust them with my life, so even when the odds have been stacked against us, we've always managed to find a way. So let's not waste any more time.
He places his hand on your shoulder and grins about as much as a kobold can, and then says,
Atarvar, Draxu, Anan, Vazak, Me, Asalar, Kalavov.
which means farewell, dragon spirit, be filled with the strength of she who called you. And then he takes his hand off your shoulder and then slowly turns and walks back into the mist. And as he disappears into the mist, Dax, and he said, be filled with the strength of she who called you, you feel like this stirring that you immediately feel like is brought about by his words, like his motivation, but then realize it feels a little different, and then maybe move whatever new cloak or whatever you have out of the way, and then notice that your chest is glowing and you have fire inside you.
Oh, all right.
Whoa.
A little bit of your next level Dax ability
Sure.
preview.
He got
Heck
that
yeah.
fire in him.
I'm him.
He's him.
Dax will put his hand up to his chest, just feeling that new fire within him. And after a second or two looking into that mist Core went into, he will turn around, head back out towards the mouth of the cave, and then once he's out there, activate his bracer and yoink himself back to the keep.
Yeah, imagine you walk out there, Seraphine is like shocked by your new transformation. You guys maybe recap like what happened in there, at least as much as you can. And she is happy and says, I am glad our venture was successful, and I hope the rest were as well. Shall we return to Keeper's Keep and find out?
Let's go.
All right, do you remember the words?
Dax will smirk a little bit. Boy, I hope so. Domum ad astra.
Although you say it a little bit unconfident, maybe a shaky voice, your bracer starts to glow.
Hey, it worked.
A circle starts getting etched around you on the ground. Seraphine nods with a smile, and then you are ripped from the surface of Norbik and sent hurling across the stars back to Keeper's Keep. And with that, we will cut to Ryu and
yeah.
Kofi,
Yeah.
who are wrapping up your guys' fight. Ryu wanted to test out Kofi's abilities in his old age, so I imagine you guys just had a bit of a sparring session, maybe a little winded. Certainly impressed with each other's abilities in like a mutual respect sort of way, but I will allow you guys to convey that in whatever way your characters would. So I'll kick it over to you guys.
All right. I yield.
I didn't think you would handle 40%.
Oh, let me tell you something. If this were 15 years ago, I'd mop the floor with you. Oh, well done, son. Well done.
You are talented with your fists as well.
Thank you, lad. I see why you are the Inbound. Oh, I need a breather. Little lightheaded.
Ryu will stand up tall and regain his composure. It is reassuring to know we have powerful allies.
You don't know the half of it.
Very well. Well, now might be a good time to discuss strategy with freeing the nodes.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I suppose we need to discuss which node we should start with.
Yes.
Does the Unbound have any suggestions of where we should start?
Well, it is my wish with this first node to release one that will allow the highest number of dissenters from the Fangdom to be able to escape and to inspire hope among those dissenters to eventually act as a rebellion against the Fangdom.
Yeah. I like the way you're thinking. Well, the obvious answer is Garter, but it's the Fangdom's capital, and we don't currently have the numbers to fight them where they're strongest. However, there is a guarded node in the region of Avakshan. Are you familiar with that?
I am unfamiliar with the names, but the territory I am likely so, as the Erikai have traveled far and wide across Desolus.
Sure. Avakshan is a rocky, dry wasteland. The fortification around the node is the only presence of the Fangdom in the region. The surrounding land is so desolate that they rarely patrol it, making it the perfect place for refugees to move in large numbers unbothered. But without a node as a destination, there's no point for them to enter the region, so if the node were liberated, many of the villagers boarding the region would flee to it. New rebellions would sprout up, I'm sure of it. Now, ultimately, it's your call, but that's the one I think we should strike first. What say you?
Kofi, you were helping goblins escape off of Desolus through nodes before, yes?
That's right.
Then why have you never cleared this node in the past if it is so advantageous?
Well, mate, it's because we haven't had the Erikai's help. My men are passionate. They're willing to die for what they believe in, but they're not as trained or experienced as the Erikai. Now that we have your help, I'm sure that we can overcome this.
I see. Well, Kofi, spectacle is also something I desire from our action moving forward. I wish for the Fangdom to see that the Unbound is here. But if you believe attacking Garkta, the Fangdom capital, to be unwise, then I have to agree. I will take your word on attacking the Node of Akshan.
You know, you're very wise for such a young age. You will rule these people well.
Speaking of wisdom, Kofi, you mentioned someone, Kaitos, and that he was a keeper of Keldora.
Yeah.
What is a Kaitos and what is a keeper?
Well, Kaitos is his name. He's a lizard folk. You ever seen one of those before?
I have, in a sense, sensed a lizard folk before.
All right. Kofi will kind of scratch his head a little bit in confusion.
It is a long story.
No, I'm sure it is. Well, anyways, this lizard folk is a special one. He's a keeper. You said you're unfamiliar with these keepers.
That is what I said.
They're the guardians of this universe, mate. 7 keepers for the 7 planets, chosen by destiny. I've heard many tales of the greatness of all of them, though most of them have been gone for some time now. Kaitos told me that if anything will ever happen to Vish, that he couldn't protect you anymore, that Kaitos would be the one to look after you. But the fact that you don't know of this Kaitos, leads me to believe that he's gone too, which is sad.
Kofi will scratch his chin a little bit, and he doesn't show emotion that strongly, but he does feel very sad thinking about that.
Ryu, can you roll me an occultism check?
Occultism?
Yeah.
Wow, who put
He's in a cult?
points in
Yeah.
there?
I knew this Erikai thing sounded a little fishy.
A 19.
So you're listening to what Kofi's saying, and he's talking about this guy you've never met watching over you after Vish died. And you've recently got some new information from Jin that Vish died after you failed your awakening, which is something you only learned a couple days ago. So if that were true, then it would have been after that moment that this Kaitos would have watched after you. And you remember that when you were blind in the desert and you didn't know where to go,
Oh.
that something led you to the node that got you to safety.
Mm-hmm.
And you wonder, though you don't know, if this person you sensed, if this thing you sensed was Kaitos.
Were there any discerning characteristics of this thing that I can draw on?
Frustratingly, no, because he specifically appeared as something that felt like nothing.
Yeah, I remember. Okay. Well, good to know.
Because as you all know, the Keepers appeared as someone you would trust, and Kaitos knew the Erikai well enough to know you would not trust anyone. So he appeared as something so nondescript that you would trust it.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, Ryu probably won't be able to put that together right now, but we'll at least keep this knowledge that Kofi has shared with him pinned to the back of his mind. And you believe the other keepers to no longer exist either.
I know that most of them are gone in the sense that we understand, but I do know that they continue to work in ways that we can't perceive. I wish I had more answers than that.
Well, Kofi, I haven't seen much of Keldora so far, but from what I have, it doesn't seem as if there are any guardians among us. And if I were to guess, they have forsaken us.
Well, like I said, they work in mysterious ways. But the fact that we're living in a world where the Unbound is partnering with goblinoids points to some supernatural work at hand. Don't lose faith yet.
It would seem we do have something we disagree on then, Kofi. The Erikai have never been much for spirituality. The closest thing to it would be the prophecy of the Unbound. Even so, it always felt as though the Unbound was more legend than prophecy. A story passed down to inspire hope that one day the Erikai would be free from tyranny, boundless to venture far and wide and flourish.
Well, you seem to be changing a lot about the Erikai around here.
Nice. Ryu, as you're pondering how to respond to that, you do catch out of the corner of your eye that Jin, who had left, is returned and sort of standing on the outskirts of your conversation like he wants to speak with you whenever you wrap this up with Kofi.
Kofi, I must get going, but for what it is worth, keepers or not, fate or not, spirituality or not, it is warriors like you and I that will bring justice to our homes.
Kofi will stretch his arms and come back to his kind of meditative stance. I'll say,
Rule 77. Confidence blooms from the belief in oneself.
Ryu will take a moment to try to wrap his head around this metaphor, and he'll look to Jin and then back to Kofi and say, "Excuse me, I have to go get my ears pierced."
Yes, of course. Don't let me stop you.
Perfect way to get out of an awkward conversation about confidence.
and then Kofi will enter his meditation.
Ryu will give a short bow and then walk away.
Okay, Ryu, you walk up to Jin thinking it's to get your ceremonial chief piercings, but realize he doesn't have any of the equipment for that, and there's not the audience you'd expect for such a profound moment. And he's sort of just standing there humbly.
I go up to him and I say, "Where is the piercer, Claire?"
Her name is Claire.
That was
There's a store
Claire's
where you get your ears
reference.
pierced called
Oh,
Claire's.
okay.
I got it, Ryan. That was a good one.
Thanks.
bud. That was a
Somebody
good
out
one.
there will.
That's a very Eric-I sounding name.
Yeah.
Ryan, did you go with your sister to get hers pierced when you were younger?
We pierced each other's at a sleepover.
Oh, okay. I went with my
Really
sister
cute.
to Claire's. That's maybe why I know it.
Oh.
Sorry, continue. We were playing Pathfinder. My bad.
Jin tilts his head confused with his eyebrow raised. What? Oh, no. Sorry, Chief. No, that's not why I'm here.
Then what is it?
He looks over his shoulder and nods to another Erikai who hands over something wrapped in cloth, and Jin grabs it very carefully, making sure the cloth is still like over the item, and that's all he's touching. And then he nods to this Erikai, and they nod back, and then they walk off. And Jin looks to you and says, Chief, I know you are the Unbound and do not require a Kenoshi. You have proven as much already. But you are deserving of a legendary blade, and it is right that you wield one. If it brings great power to ordinary Okita, it will bring even more to you. And he looks sort of desperate when he's saying that, like he desperately wants you to wield a legendary blade, but is unsure if you're going to reject it as this Unbound. And you've basically rejected every Erikai custom, but there's just something like deep in his soul that he wants to see the Unbound wield a legendary blade. He just feels it is right, but he's waiting for your response.
Ryu will look down at his open hand and then clench it into a fist, close his eyes, and sense his aura within. The innate power of the Unbound is great, but I get a sense that to truly wield it to its fullest requires that the Erikai have a Kenoshi, so this is admissible.
He grins subtly, like, hell yeah, look in his eyes. And then he sort of snaps out of it, realizing what he has to say next is perhaps controversial as well. This is good, but there is only one unclaimed legendary blade. And he uncovers the blade that he has, but makes sure that the hilt still has the cloth on it as he holds it only by the cloth. And you instantly recognize that this is Vish's blade.
Dude, classic.
Fish.
Ryu will initially have his heart wrench looking at Vish's blade and say, when an Erikai wields their blade after awakening and surges their aura through that weapon, an ability blossoms from within, and they merge their essence with the blade. It would be wrong of me to overwrite the final essence that lasts of Vish.
Jin hangs his head as he's holding this blade, and he's nodding, like in agreement, somewhat, but then says, Vish was always going to give this blade to you, Ryu. He hasn't called you anything other than Chief in a long time, so he's being like very, like, understand. Like, I trained alongside you. He was my
Okita too.
Dang, I like that.
Believe me. And even though I'm the one who killed him, I did have respect for him. And it is why I would not claim this blade for myself, for I knew it belonged to you. His essence will not be replaced, but it'll live on through your legacy, the one he helped shape in his training. You must wield it. But, Ryu, you must know, the elders, they tell me this blade is now cursed, for its wielder was killed by one of their own. And he lowers his head again, and then he lifts it back up. But you have shown yourself to be above the words of the elders, and have the authority to wield this blade if you wish. Your power is greater than any Erakai superstition, and it is the only blade that remains. And he drops to a knee and lifts the sword up and hangs his head. Like, whatever you choose, he respects, but he has, like, pled his case. He feels it belongs to you, and even you would know that's true. Like, Vish wanted you to have it. You were his prized pupil. Even with what Kofi's telling you, he's been watching over you this whole time. Like, wanted you to realize the unbound. He would be the first to tell you to take his blade if he was still alive. But also, Jin is saying the elders believe it's cursed.
Ryu will breathe a deep sigh. Then as Vish lives on in my memory, he will live alongside me in our Kenoshi. And Jin, you can tell the elders I am above all Erakai curses.
He lifts his head up.
Nice.
And smiles. Because, I mean, that's true. You literally are.
Yeah.
That's what the unbound is.
Yeah.
And then he raises it slightly higher for you to take, still only touching it through the cloth, like not even touching the hilt.
I will reach for the handle of this Kenoshi.
You grip it and raise it, and you feel the weight, and you can tell there's a different type of power in it. You've never held a Kenoshi before. Like, you picked up your father's, but that was after he died, and that, like, essence escaped it, and it wasn't even a legendary blade. So although, like, there's fragments of Vish still in it, it's still like this unpowered version of it, but you can feel the dormant power within, and it is up to you to surge your aura into it and awaken that.
Ryu will grip this blade with both hands and slowly start to surge his aura, creating larger and larger waves as he reaches the peak of his energy.
Kofi maybe gets snapped from his meditation. Jin is stepping back as the sand is rippling. Some of the pillars around are shaking again. And as you surge your aura, rather than sending it all outward, you focus it into the blade, and the blade begins to glow with this ley line type energy. Eventually it starts to glow so bright that you can't even make out the blade itself. Ryu gets wrapped in the light, you can't see him anymore. You just hear the sound of, like, splintering and metal fracturing. And the light shoots out, blinding everyone as they cover their eyes. And as the light disappears, you see Ryu standing there with this massive Odachi with a serrated edge as the metal took new shape with jagged teeth. And I will allow Ryan to describe what his unique legendary blade looks like.
Ryan, what does it look like?
Tell us, bud. I'm excited.
Okay, here I go. Next time on... Just kidding.
Ah, dang it.
As Ryu is standing there and as the serrated edge of his blade starts to form, the serrations are created by cracking pieces of the edge of that blade falling down to the floor as this almost like, what do I want to call it?
Anime blade, you can say it.
Sure. And those edges are formed by a glowing red, almost ember-like presence passing along that edge. And then as each piece cracks off, leaving that cracked and fractured serrated edge, that redness starts to cool, leaving just a black edge to each serrated piece.
Sick.
Dope.
So Ryu, you're standing there with this new legendary blade, serrated, just resonating with this power, and the weapon you have, although it's your Odachi, whatever base weapon, this is based on the Grizzly Scythe.
Mm-hmm.
And although it's not a scythe and doesn't quite match the description, it does keep the traits. It is a +1 striking, wounding Odachi. So
double damage die, +1 magic, and does the wounding, which is persistent bleed damage on a successful strike of 1d6. But you get the sense of this power, and you wonder how much of it has to do with this curse that Jin and the elders said may be in this blade, or if it has to do with your unique life force that is sustaining you beyond death. But you get the sense that, in a statistical terms, once per hour, if you have a critical success, instead of inflicting slashing damage, you can do negative damage, and you regain a number of hit points equal to half the negative damage inflicted. And the struck creature becomes sickened 1 from the agony. But you can tell there's some sort of like tainted power in this that would maybe claim the life of someone else who wielded it, but in your hands, being unbound, being brought back to life, who knows, you can wield it and siphon the life energy. But you hope that that's all that's in this blade, but you don't know.
Okay.
And you're now equipped with a legendary blade. You have
Let's
a
go.
leader
Yeah.
of the rebel forces. You have a plan on where to strike, and you prepare to lead your forces to the region of Avakshan to launch your war on the Fangdom.
yeah.
And with that, we will cut to Jhuls.
Oh, wow. I haven't done Jules' voice in a while.
Yes. So, Jhuls, when you approach this island with the abandoned lighthouse, you originally saw like a few pirates singing your shanty, available on YouTube if you want to check it out, around a fire. They seem distracted, unconcerned. You do remember that you made your presence known in the salty boots when you took off your hat and wanted Crookfang to know you were coming. And you swam a long way to get here, but you didn't see any visible sign of them being aware of this or on high alert or anything. But still, you decided to be stealthy, and you swam around the edge of this very small island, and you were going to start climbing up this rocky coast that like merged with the lighthouse and try and scale because it's sort of broken down. Some of the bricks are sticking out, and you feel like you can make it up this 120-foot tall lighthouse by scaling it and getting to the top. So with that, you were climbing onto this rocky shore and preparing to do your climb. You see Edard appear one more time, peeking his head up out of the water, and says, "Now remember, Jhuls, the Mythium, Kyra is what is most important. You simply must get her outside, and your sigil, it can send you home. I know you're filled with vengeance, but we simply cannot lose you here. Do you understand?"
Edard, I understand.
Yes.
Kyra is most important.
Yes. And he raises his hands. "Do your thing." And he disappears into the water. And he is going to allow you to do whatever you do. You could just tell that he's like, it's not that he doesn't care about Kyra. He just knows what it's like to be in love and that you are like consumed by this and also angry. But he, on the grand scheme of things, knows that this Mythium is
Sure.
very essential for like the existence of Keldora. So he's just trying to like hammer that home in your brain, but
Yeah.
knows that Kyra is essential for you to unlock this Mythium. But he's staying out of your way now.
I will start climbing.
All right. Can you roll me an athletics check? And you have one hero point,
roll
by
you
the
on
way.
Netflix. Oh, okay. Perfect. Thank you. Let Google catch up. Okay. Athletics. That is a 26.
All right. So you are climbing precisely enough that you're not making too much noise, that you're not like falling or kicking rocks off that would alert the rowdy, drunken, shanty singing pirates over on the beach around this fire. So there's enough noise that you're not really like trying to be stealthy per se, and you are in the darkness, and you are scaling like the most scalable part of this tower. You're climbing, you're very determined as you look up. You have a long way to go as a 120-foot tower, but you're making steady progress. You're getting closer and closer and closer to your destination. Can you roll me a perception check?
Sure, certainly. That's not great. 17.
All right.
It's all right.
It's all right.
That's all right. That's not bad. I didn't roll high, but my perception's decent, so.
Well, you notice some birds are flying around, but you're very focused and you're climbing. And you climb a little bit more and a little bit more. And as you're about 30 feet from the opening at the top, you slowly see first a large red fin emerging from a window, followed by the face of Redfin
Oh no.
looking directly down the tower at you as you're sort of just exposed, looking up at him. And he says,
Hello, Rooster.
and he does this big grin with his jagged lizard folk teeth.
Hello, Redfin. Funny meeting you here.
He sort of leans on the edge of the window, kind of keeping his head out, looking down at you. You're probably not climbing at this point, and he's just looking at you, and he sort of casually flops his hand out the side of the window, and you see him reading a piece of parchment that he's unfolded and holding with two hands, and you would recognize this as something that would be delivered by Raven, like the size of it. And he says,
You can't swim as fast as a raven flies, I'm afraid. I'm surprised. After showing your face in the salty boot, I thought you might try the front door. But I looked out the window just in case.
and then he looks down at you, smirking. And you see he's like lazily holding a pistol out the window.
Look, Redfin, I don't have time for this. Just give me Kyra. That's all I want.
Don't have time for this. Suit yourself.
And he raises his hand up to his mouth and he just whistles very loudly. And then you turn your head and see all of the pirates that were sitting around the fire just stand up, like all confused and stumble over each other and like drop all their rum and stuff like that. And then they see you like on the edge of the tower. And then they just like scramble and start picking up pistols and loading them and getting ready to aim them at you. Can you roll me initiative?
Oh, I wish you wouldn't have done that.
Yay, fighting.
What am I rolling with?
Roll athletics because you got to climb.
Okay. 26.
All right. Redfin steps inside. You see him just turn away from the window and like walk into the tower. It is your turn. You have 30 feet to go.
I just want to climb as fast as I can to get inside
Okay.
this
Roll an athletics check.
lighthouse. 24.
That is a regular success. So you move 5 feet as you start climbing, as you hear pistols loading off in the distance and a bunch of pirates shouting and kicking each other and saying, "That's Jhuls, that's him, he's here," like loading their pistols frantically.
Hello, gentlemen. How good is your aim?
You're hoping pretty poor because they're drunk, which might actually make them better. You don't know with pirates.
That's true. That's very true.
All right, second action. Climb again.
Yep, climb again. That is a 22.
Regular success, another 5 feet.
Okay. For my third, I will climb once again. And a 24 again.
Another regular success.
I've rolled like 4 13s so far.
So
And I've rolled
you're-
like 5 times.
You're sort of doing like a slow as smooth as fast sort of climb, like very deliberate. As you're making your way up, you're grabbing all the footholds. There's not very many, so you're being very precise. And you make it half the distance, and then you hear a volley of flintlock pistols fired at you. Can you roll me a reflex save?
24.
Yay. That is a regular success. So a bunch of rounds fly at you. Some hit the edge of the tower and debris flies and maybe hits you in the face. You feel a stray one slide across to your thigh, barely grazing you as you see some blood trickle down. Maybe some ricochet flies and hits you, and you're going to take 7 damage.
Dang.
And that'll bring us back to you, Jhuls.
All right. Gonna keep climbing.
All right, roll an athletics check.
Ooh. 18.
That is a regular success as well.
Oh, thank God. Kyra, I'm coming. 22.
Regular success.
Uh-oh.
You have 1 hero point if you want to use it, but
I'll use the hero point.
you're like, I don't want to fail a climb check.
I don't want to fail a climb check. All right. That is a 20. No, not 20.
All right. Nice. So as you're getting shot at, you maybe brace for a second as all the bullets are hitting, and then you hear them loading their pistols again, and you don't want to be around for the second volley, so you just start climbing as fast as you can, and you make it to the top of the tower, do a muscle up, and then just roll onto your feet, and then you're standing in the opening, and you just see an old beaten down room. You see what's clearly like the only door, like room barred in there on the other side of the room. And then standing in the center is Redfin, who seems like he was using this time to prepare to duel you, as he sort of just jangles some keys and then tucks them inside his vest. And that'll bring us to Redfin, who sort of pacing side to side as he reaches on his back and sort of pulls out this long dagger style weapon that he keeps in this like sheath on his back. Yeah, but it's like this very long dagger, and you know his fighting style. He uses this primarily to parry, and then he draws his cutlass, so he's dual wielding. And as he's pacing back and forth, he says,
I'm glad you're here, Rooster. I've been quite bored on this island, and I haven't killed anyone since your friends Hansel and Scurvy.
as he sort of twirls his swords around.
And they will be your last.
We'll see about that. You can't sing your way out of this one, Rooster.
And he dashes forward, and he is going to slash at you with his cutlass.
All right. Good luck.
And he definitely misses. So as he swings his cutlass down, like very quickly, like this is a strike you would have seen him make countless times, and maybe months ago you would have feared this attack, but for some reason you feel prepared for it and you sidestep it as he swipes at air, and he turns his head at you confused, like never seen you move like that, as he grits his teeth. He last remembered you as like this level 1 bard of the Black Dawn, but since then you fought a swashbuckler in the Falling City in like one-on-one combat. Like you've done so many things since you last seen him, so he's like realizing that you're more than just this bard at this point, and maybe you don't feel like he almost feels less formidable to you than Raul. Like this is like, I got this kind of vibe. But he's going to lash out and follow up with his other like offhanded weapon that he typically uses to parry in a desperate attack, but this one's much quicker. Oh my goodness. Can you roll me a percentage die?
Oh no. 52.
All right.
So no,
You know that this strike was
Yeah.
coming, and you just reach out and grab his wrist and then pull his arm. That makes him like stumble past you, and now he's off guard for your turn as he's like trying to regain his balance. And that'll bring us to you, Jhuls. So already you've kind
Awesome.
of made a fool of him very quickly. He nat 1, by the way. I guess I didn't say that. That's why I had you roll
Nice.
percentage die. He sucked on his first turn after all his crap talking.
Okay, I think I'll start out with the classic bon mot.
Okay.
So I give him an insightful quip, I distract them, and I roll a diplomacy against their will DC,
Okay.
and they get, he said he's already distracted, right?
He's off guard.
Or off guard.
Yeah.
Says he's distracted, takes a -3 status penalty to perception and will saves for 1 minute.
If he fails.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, with that, I will say, you have such nice skin, Redfin. It's a shame it's worth more as a pair of boots.
Oh, dang, dude. All right.
Dang.
You roll that against his will's DC?
Yeah.
Okay, roll it.
Oh, but I have some feat. I can't remember the name, but I can use performance instead of diplomacy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that.
36.
Oh, dang, that's a crit.
Oh, heck
Let's
yeah,
go.
dude.
Freaking making him look like an idiot. What does that do if it's a crit?
So he gets -3 status penalty to perception and will saves for 1 minute.
Okay.
He can end the effect early with a retort to mine.
All right.
That was a freaking hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, that was
Yes.
worthy of a crit. All right, you got 2 more actions, and he is off guard.
All right, cool. So with that, I'll strike him with my trident.
All right. So you maybe take it off your back and then extend it.
Yeah, I take it out. I do my little flip that I always do, which extends at the end, and use the momentum of that to jolt forward.
All right. Roll an attack roll.
24.
All right, that hits.
Oh, it does. Nice. I wasn't sure if that was high
He's
enough.
also off guard.
Heck yeah. Get him, Jhuls.
All right, so that's
Turn him into boots.
9 damage.
All right, so as you pull it out, it extends, and then you spin it into like one attack, and then it slashes across his back, and then you see him like stumble into just some old broken down dresser they have in there, and then he like bounces off of it, and he turns around looking just enraged that you so quickly made a fool of him.
I smirk.
And that'll take us to Redfin, who takes both of his weapons, and you just see him like spinning them as fast as he can as he lashes out with this like multi-attack as he's like using them together. And he is going to strike with both of them at once. Okay, does a 25 hit you?
That meets.
All right. and that will deal 11 damage. And then very quickly, like this just cyclone of attacks, he's coming up with his second, that longer dagger. Does a 23 hit you?
Nope.
Darn it. All right. So you regain your senses quickly, hold your trident up, push the dagger off. He stumbles to the side and then he turns around and then you see him like raise the dagger across his face as he's getting in a more defensive stance to use it to parry with. That'll take us back to you.
Okay, I'm going to take my ocarina out and play a fierce, piercing melody. I'm going to cast Mirror Image.
All right.
I have one saved for that.
I know you do, buddy. I know you do. That is 2 actions. And with my last action, I will attack him once again.
Perfect.
With my trident.
So like misty water versions of you start to form and then take a solid form, and there's now multiples of you. And Redfin is like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting this. He's sort of like backing up a little bit in this like desperate, like trapped animal, like look in his eyes where he's about to just go nuts trying to fight his way out of this.
What's wrong, Redfin? Are you feeling all right? And
What is this?
that is a 23.
That hits.
Oh, man. This guy does not have a high AC.
You gotta know, right, AC? Don't make fun of his
I
AC,
know,
bro. Don't make fun of his AC.
He's the bad guy, Zach. Whose side are you on?
I'm on his side. I'm
Yeah,
always on the bad
obviously.
guy's side.
That's true. That's true. That is 11
Dang.
Dimaggio.
So he doesn't like know where the next strike's coming from, and you saw he had his dagger up to like help him parry, and he like turns to the wrong one, and you come from the other side and just stab like into his thigh and like pull the trident out, and he drops to a knee for a second. And then he stands back up and he's sort of spinning with his cutlass out. Is that the end of your turn?
Yep.
All right. He is once again going to try and just flurry with both of his weapons. He's doing his best to like use what is clearly like his best attack. So he's going to strike at one of these. So what are the rules again on determining which one I hit? Do I have to see if I hit first?
So first he has to hit me, and then if he does, you roll a d4.
So with his cutlass, he rolled a 29.
Yep, that hits.
And then with
So
his
you roll a
dagger,
D4.
with his dagger, he rolled a 28.
Okay, so both those hit.
Okay. So the first D4 was a 1.
That hits me.
All right.
Oh, dang it.
And let's see what the second D4 was. Literally another 1, dude. I'm not even joking. I'm not trolling. All right. So those both hit you. Man, he had a really crappy first round, but that helps a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
How good. Yippee for him.
yeah. Okay, so the cutlass dealt 14 damage.
Jeez.
And then the dagger deals 9 damage. And part of this ability is if he lands with both of these attacks, he gets a free attempt to disarm.
Dang.
Of course he does.
Your trident. So he's like literally guessing. He's just like frantically swinging, but fortune is on his side for one random turn as he slashes at you. Like you're maybe overconfident, thinking like he's not gonna pick right or doesn't know what to do, and he maybe had his back to you, and then like last second turn around and stab, and then both of these slash across you. And as he sees like real blood come off your chest, he is going to like follow up and try and hook in between your trident forks with his dagger and like yank it down. So let's see here. All right, his athletics check, which is against your reflex DC, is a 26.
Reflex, that's 24.
Okay, so that's a regular success. So further attempts to disarm the target of that item, gaining +2 circumstance bonus, and the target takes a -2 circumstance penalty to attacks with that item or other checks requiring a firm grasp of the item. The creature can end the effect by interacting to change its grip on the item. Otherwise, it lasts as long as the creature holds the item.
So I got a -2 if I use my trident.
Yeah, unless you use an action to like regain your control over it.
Okay.
That'll take us back to you, Jhuls. And he's maybe like spinning his blades confidently that now have your blood on it. And he says,
Same old rooster.
Oh, cockle-doodle-doo.
Cockle-doodle don't.
Oh.
What makes you think I need my trident to finish you? I'll raise my hand into a gun shape
oh, dang.
and give him the classic 3-shot barrage
All right.
of force.
Okay.
I will shoot all 3 darts at this joke
And are you
of
heightening
a
it?
pirate. Yes.
So you'll shoot 6 darts?
That's my understanding of it. Don't care if I'm wrong. It's confusing wording. It's their fault if I can't understand it because I'm really smart. So
I trust you, Zach.
I don't trust me, but also I want to play, not read rules all day.
Okay, bear with me. 25.
Dang, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, you raise your hand up and then just fire all these aqua darts like rapidly, and you see him like trying to block it, but they're just like flying in and they just like hit his chest a bunch and explode and sparks like fly off, and he's like stumbling backwards, and you dealt a ton of damage to him. You see his coat is like ripped open and just blood is like dripping down his chest, and you can tell he's in final stand type territory already. Like you just absolutely like Swiss cheesed him a little bit, and he did not know you could do that, and he's completely shocked.
Not same old rooster.
All right, that'll take us back to him. He maybe holds one of his hands up to his chest and looks down at it and sees the blood on it, and he looks up at you and says,
Well, even if you manage to kill me, Rooster, Crookfang's surely on his way. There's no escaping this.
and he runs forward. You know Redfin is someone who will die fighting to defend his like honor, to defend the Black Dawn, and also he will not accept that you are stronger than him unless you kill him. So he comes running at you. He's going to swing his sword again. Oh, dang. Is a 34 a crit?
Uh-oh.
Almost.
What? What's your AC? I thought it was 24. 25?
It's 25.
You lucky, but
I'm a lucky little stinker.
well, he still hits. That is
I know that.
11 damage.
Okay, go on.
And then he's not going to use his dagger this time in the follow-up. He's going to use his
Oh.
cutlass again, which will take more of a penalty, but would deal more damage if it hits. And
I
he
get it.
absolutely misses. So although he slashes across you, you then like raise up your trident on the second one, and you guys meet, and your blades are holding, and he's like leaning into you, and his teeth are gritted, and says,
Both you and Kyra will die here.
and his blade comes off of your trident as he stumbles back, and then he's going to raise his dagger to parry again, and it'll bring us back to you.
I'm just gonna say it. This guy seems rude.
He's rude.
Yeah, he kind of does, isn't he?
One fish, two fish, red fish, rude fish.
Nice.
Oh, right.
Did you just come up with that, bro?
Yeah, I made up that rhyme.
Wait, isn't my mirror image still?
Yeah, it is.
So we didn't do the
Yeah.
D4 thing. Oh well, doesn't matter. So both my hands are tied up, right? You said I'm like holding my trident up like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I described it. You guys were like lashed. Yeah. And you like pushed him off.
Okay. I'm going to, if I may, Zachary
Okay.
or Nesty,
Yeah.
tumble through and try to end up behind him.
All right.
Okay, so before I say what I'm going to do, I will roll first. Ooh, that is a 32.
Oh, okay. That's a success. All right.
Okay. I'm going to push up with my trident first, but then I'm just going to let go completely so that I can slip either through his legs or around him. I end up on the other side of him, behind him.
Okay.
And then I'd like to call my trident back to him, which is now on the floor. Call it back to myself, but he's in the way, right? So I'd like to use it as kind of a projectile.
Telekinetic projectile
Sick.
instead of like your returning
Yeah,
ram,
yeah,
but like
yeah.
flavoring. All right. I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Roll it up.
That is that's a 18.
That does not hit. So
Dang.
you tumble through, you call the telekinetic projectile, and you're shocked that he like hears it trembling on the floor as it snaps back up, and then he dives out of the way as you catch it in your hand.
Okay. Then I'll just attack him with it.
All right, multi-attack penalty.
So 23.
That hits.
Yes.
Hey.
Fuck.
Okay. 10.
All right. So as he ducks under it, it flies over his head. He rolls and stands back up to his feet. He rolls like, because his momentum carried him forward, it like rolls right into you, like there to meet him, and you just stab it into his chest as he stands up, and it pierces out his back. And you guys are face to face as you have killed Redfin, who is trying to like say something to curse you or mock you, but the air is escaping his lungs, and his eyes are bulging out of his face.
I've seen sturdier scales on a spoiled fish.
Oh,
Yank it out.
Sick.
He stumbles backwards. He's like maybe stumbling back towards the open window as he's nearing death.
I'll calmly walk up to him, grab the keys from inside wherever he put them in his clothing, pull the keys out from where he's keeping them, and I'll say, "Don't worry, I'll write a song about you."
Nice
Dead
one.
Finn. And then I'll kick him out the window.
Oh, you kick him as like the back of his
Nice.
thighs hit the windowsill as he flips back over and then just tumbles out the window and smashes onto those rocks and then rolls into the sea. And you turn around with the keys and see the door. What do?
I run to it, although I kind of realize I'm kind of hurting a little bit, so I wince a little bit. But I don't care about that, Zach. I got to get to my honey.
All right. You put the key in the door. Can you roll me a fortitude save?
Yes. I don't know why I'd be doing this, though. That's pretty dang good, though. That's a 31.
All right. And you turn the key, the door swings open. You see Kyra. She's chained to the floor and her mouth is gagged. Obviously, because she would be yelling out to you or calling out. Like Redfin knew you were coming, so he didn't want to have her be able to like warn you or anything. She looks just as beautiful as you remember, and she is there.
Probably even more so.
Awaiting to be rescued. Her eyes are wide open. She is so happy to see you, cannot believe you're here. And then you hear the familiar crack of a cannonball hurling
Oh, no.
towards the tower. But you rolled a critical success on your fortitude save as a cannonball bashes through the wall. You hit the deck, cover your head as the building starts to crumble, and you lift your head up through all the smoke and the haze, and you see out on the water under the twin moons of Aquaria, the Black Dawn firing cannonballs at the tower, and you look and see Kyra. This floor has like tilted and rocked, and she's now sliding down the floor and falls into the open air. Can you roll me an athletics check?
Oh boy.
Gosh, dang it. 28.
All right, Jhuls, you run and then slide on your hip down the same path that she used to fall, and then kick off, dive after her, wrap your arms around her. Is there anything you want to say?
I firmly wrap my arms around her and I say, Dumum Adastra.
And you start to glow as you see more cannonballs ignite and fly through the air and absolutely obliterate the tower behind you, and you are ripped from the air and sent hurling across Keldora back to Keeper's Keep, and that.
Oh my gosh.
man.
Holy cow.
Sheesh.
You guys, I got her.
Session. You got the
got
girl,
her.
bro. You got the girl, bro. All right.
Nice. Are you gonna kiss her?
I'm going to kiss her
Gross.
on the mouth.
I want to hear you guys roleplay that.
That's what the whole next episode is. It's just me and my brother-in-law Adam role playing.
So you practice is what you're saying.
You know what? Actually, everybody
I
shut
can't
up.
wait.
I don't want to play that. I don't even want
okay.
to talk about that. That disgusts me.
Yeah,
all right?
I just want to get to the next
Obviously, when he
episode
lands
as
on the
soon as
node, he's
possible.
going to crush her and she's going to die on impact.
Wait,
And
what?
Yeah,
Hold on.
so
Wait, but she's
stay
not a
tuned for
mom
next
yet.
episode.
No.
Yeah, because I don't want to role
I don't
play
wanna
that
do
with Adam,
that.
so that's going to happen. That's why people are going to come back next week. They're like, how is Zach going to role play a romantic encounter with his
darn.
brother-in-law? Yeah, how's he going to do it? We'll find out.
Mortals
That's what you're
and
here for.
portals
I can't
after
wait.
dark.
Yeah.
I made a terrible mistake. I should have
Anyways,
just
yeah,
let her
everybody
fall.
shut up. Shut
Yeah.
up,
Okay.
everyone. Please shut up. Thank you. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to read a comment that I found on the internet. I was on the internet yesterday, and I was
Pretend to
browsing.
the show, or it's just a comment?
I was browsing the internet, and I found
Like you do.
comments. Like people can go on there and they can just type
say
things
stuff?
that they think. They can do it from the safety of their own home, so they can say just about anything they want.
That's
and
crazy.
So I started reading some of these
Just
comments.
about, right?
And
Yeah.
actually, I felt pretty good when I was reading them. I was like, these are good comments. I like these.
Why?
And then I realized they were about our show. So I think that's why I liked them so much.
Hey.
What a twist.
Yeah.
Well, then they
What
are
What are the
relevant.
chances of that?
Yeah. Which, side note, after that, I was like, the internet's, this is a cool place. So then I went to some other stuff and was reading comments, and then I did not feel good. But
Right.
so then I went back
No.
to the comments about our show. because I like that feeling way more. And so I was like reading a bunch of comments about our show. Someone commented, when we made that YouTube video of Jhuls' sea shanty, remember that one? Remember when he did that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you guys worked really hard on that, and Adam made that animation of like the ship on Aquaria, and like Ryan like made this whole song, and you guys like edited it. It was all cool. We put it on YouTube, and people said nice stuff.
Yes.
That was a long time ago, but someone commented recently. By the time this episode comes out, this will not be recent, but someone named 1736 for
1736
Alex and some other nonsense and things and words. They said, I've been binging this series on Spotify, and as soon as this song came up, I had to hunt it down. So they were like, dude,
Nice.
I'm taking to YouTube.
Nice.
Surely they've uploaded this. The song is too good to hide.
I
so thank you.
responded to them in there.
Oh, you did? Let's see.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Hopefully,
you said
nicely.
thank you. I
What'd
like
you
this
say?
song too. That's
Yes.
really good response, Ryan.
Thank
I'm
you.
really glad you
Response, Ryan.
represent.
I learned how
portals and
comments
portals on
work
the
today
internet.
too.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I would have believed you if you told me AI wrote that comment. That just seems like if YouTube's like respond with like a generic.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like this song too. The guy who wrote and performed and edited the song, other than Adam's lead vocals, likes the song that he made. So yeah,
I want
that's
them
cool.
to think I am AI.
I mean, we're all gonna be AI soon, anyway. So
I can't wait
right?
to be
Isn't that
Allen
what
Iverson.
isn't that what big companies are doing? We're all gonna
I
become
think
AI.
that's the goal.
Isn't that
That's the goal for sure.
All right.
I
I've seen The
saw a
Matrix.
billboard when we traveled to New York that literally said like something about like don't hire real employees, hire AI.
That sounds like a billboard
Love it.
AI
It's
would
coming.
make. So it seems like at least one person
does.
has become AI,
Right?
and is
But
making billboards.
I was like shocked. I was like, wow, you're really just putting it out there, huh?
all right, we're doing the mandatory podcast talking about AI things, so we've fulfilled that. So
Right.
We'll just call this episode talking about AI. People are like, what? Anyways,
That's the
shut
Mortals
up.
and Portals
everyone.
coin.
Yeah, we'll
Just
talk about
waiting for it the
downtime.
whole time.
We'll see you next time, mortals.
Bye-bye.
However, if you believe that attacking that, what's their like home base called? What did you call it, Zach?
Garta.
But if you believe attacking Garta, the Fangdom capital, to be unwise, then I have to agree. I will take your word on attacking. What is it?
Evoction.
I will take your word on attacking. I will take your word on attacking. Damn, what did you call it?
I like to imagine Ria's actually say that.
Yeah. I'm like,
It's called
Trump-
Kofi's just
Pro-
staring at him, just
pronouncing
waiting.
Caesar.
The region is called